welcome back to another episode of the Hooligans Pitch. As always, it is me and Chad this weekend, Sunday night edition.
Sunday night. We're
Usually,
early.
Yeah, usually on Mondays, but no Monday game. For the first time in a long time, it feels like.
Quite a while, yeah.
So we had some time tonight to get after it, but not a big weekend. So this might be a good, solid pod for the few games that happened. Chad, I think this was a decent weekend for the both of us as far as the table goes.
Yeah.
Back on top.
Back
once
on
again.
top.
Hey-o. Welcome back. But hey, before we get started, we were just talking about this before we went live here. We need to give a shout out to the people who are tuning into this podcast because, bravo. Kudos to you. Our numbers are up a ton. We can see it. We see people viewing, which is a super crazy thing that we're now acknowledging this on camera. It's so strange to say, but we're going to do it because we do recognize it.
I think it's like, for me, it's like when we started this, it was never necessarily about growing numbers or gaining listeners necessarily. It was just nice to be able to connect with you and like talk soccer and like we say it all the time. It's like a nice little therapy session for us.
Truly is.
For other people to be joining in on this and coming along is great. I will shout out our Discord. Come join the party over there.
That's right.
We post the memes there. Talk games, talk footy, post pictures of you at games.
Yep.
All the fun stuff. So that's on the website, hooliganspitch.com.
Check us out.
You probably already know it, you know?
All right, Chad. Let's talk some footy now after giving a shout out to the people. We got to pop these beer, though. Don't forget. I always jump ahead of myself too soon, especially on good weekends. The bad weekends, I'm like, open it now. Open it. It's already open. I'm doing a local brew, Snapper by Logboat. Just
interesting.
It's my favorite beer by them. Just a nice IPA.
Nice. I'm still working my way through the Voodoo Ranger Hard Charge Tea. I've tried all the flavors now. There's 4 different flavors. I'd say flavor is good on all of them, but I think I'm more of like a seltzer fan rather than a hard tea fan.
Okay.
I like that little bit of like carbonation aspect to it, but
okay.
Flavor's great for these, and they're nice and light for summer, so still keep an eye out if you find them, give them a shot.
I will. They sound good. Voodoo Ranger could do no wrong.
Exactly.
All right. So, Chad, why don't we start Arsenal, since you guys kind of went first? And, you could talk about what you saw on your end, and I'll give you my feedback, because there is some that I'd love to give you. But let's hear it. What do you got for us?
Yeah. Wolves away, I think after the week that Arsenal had leading up to this, Wolves away was maybe a little bit threatening, though I think Arsenal definitely benefited from Wolves just having like so many injured key players. So that was nice going in, feeling a little bit cautiously confident, I'd say, which I think is just how I'm going to feel like for the remainder of the games, because everything is just must win at this point. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal came out looking pretty good. I think you could see players were maybe still a little bit tired, but not like they looked against Aston Villa. They looked more up for it, at least especially compared to that second half of the Villa game. But I think everyone just seemed to be on the same page for the most part, kind of working through maybe some tired legs and just kind of getting through the pain and stuff. But pretty good play overall, I'd say. I think just lacking a little bit of sharpness.
Yeah.
It seemed, some of the shots, some of the final balls, even some of the passing was just not quite where we're used to seeing Arsenal have it. But I don't know. There wasn't anything like too stand out in the performance as a team for me. It was just like, Raya came up with a big save. Trossard kind of lucked into that goal, I think, but it ended up being a nice goal. Declan Rice was running around out there causing havoc, but also like keeping it pretty calm, cool, collected.
Yeah,
he looked just
he was the leader of the
by
day.
the end of it. But
yeah, he was definitely the leader of the day. That's 100% accurate. But he looked gassed. He had almost that like at the end, almost like the 100-yard stare of just nothing. He kind of gave that off. He's like, what is he thinking right now? And he was breathing hard. I did notice that he was breathing hard.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you kind of want to see that, but at the same time, I want to like not necessarily see that towards the end of the game because especially right now, the quick turnaround or play again on Tuesday, like hopefully he's able to get home and get a good rest and massage and ice bath, whatever the recovery process is for him. But it's I think one of those performances where you didn't score or you didn't assist, but like you were such a key part of the team performance and the win. Even though stats may not fully show it, but without him, I think it would have been a different game for sure. I ended up being pretty chill through the whole thing. Like I never really felt too stressed. I think that helps with Trossard getting the goal right before half, like eases some nerves. But I didn't feel like Wolves put up too much of a threat. Like there was that one big chance that Raya saved, and I think that's probably the only time I was kind of like, oh no, not again.
Yeah.
But then Odegaard's really just like his persistence on the ball at the end of the game to stick with it, and then I don't even know how he picks out that angle. I know,
what a weird angle.
It's just a try and hit it towards the goal and somehow finds its way between the post and Jose Sa, and great goal to end it on. Overall, a chill game. Like I don't know.
Wow.
Nothing really like stood out to me too much of like that I needed to nitpick or call out so much. Although I will say, I think this could have been a game that you could have rotated more. Like you got Smith Rowe up on the bench, you got Vieira on the bench. Partey came in late, but maybe could have came in earlier. Like I don't know. I guess that's my one nitpick is Arteta still is just like so insistent on like this is my starting 11, and I basically only have 11 players. So like you guys are just gonna be driven into the ground.
It is pretty crazy. We saw Saka over the week looking pretty gassed. Didn't play that well in that game, stats wise, and just from watching him, he was just ineffective in what he was trying to do. And I do think that's partially Arteta's fault and just how much he's had to use Saka. And I get it. That's part of Arsenal's like game plan. And if Saka's that player, he has to be able to, put up those performances with a lot of minutes under his belt too. So, it's not like an excuse saying, Saka, we need you. It's like, well, you need him to a certain degree. And I do agree with you, though. This is one of those games where I think you could have subbed out Saka and nothing would have really changed. Like, I still think the scoreline would have stayed the same. I don't think the Wolves would have done any more type of, defensive schemes to make their attack better. I don't think anything would have changed in this game. Yeah. So I agree with you there on Arteta, not making a handful of changes, and with those changes just being super late. What stood out to me though is that you guys it felt very I was more anxious I think than you, because obviously y'all were winning 1-0 at half, but that second half I was like waiting for you guys to put them away, and it wasn't happening, and I was like, dude, it takes one blunder for your season. I'm sorry, if you would have dropped points in this game, I think that would have been like, that might have been the true dagger. And
I mean, I think that's what I meant when I was saying like just some of the sharpness wasn't there. Like there were multiple chances to put them away. But I think, having watched Arsenal at the beginning of the season struggle to get any sort of goal momentum, I guess I was a little bit prepped for that, where it's like, okay, well, they're still like playing well, they're still getting in good spots and creating and getting shots off, so that maybe eased my nerves, even though it was such a thin margin still. Right.
I mean, it's pretty incredible. 2 months ago, both our teams were, I don't want to say they were flying high, because we're pretty much the exact same point as 2 months ago, but it felt like goals were just coming at any time, like
Yeah.
and many of them. And now we're like, please, please score. It's crazy how much it's turned. And I guess kudos to the opponents they're going against. At the last part of the season, they're stepping it up too, because their season is dependent on what the top teams are doing versus the bottom. I think the middle of the table now is kind of decided, even though we're in the middle, we're also going to show you that like we do belong in this league. And that happened in a couple games this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially when you're coming up against title challengers, it's probably just that little extra motivation to be like, well, our position in the table won't be affected too much regardless, but if we can be the team that just like upset the title race or whatever, let's be that team. So I think Arsenal really got lucky that Wolves are just without a lot of key players. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome, but it would have been a much scarier game, I think.
Yeah, it looked pretty casual on both sides. And you never know if the Wolves have their true starting 11 out there. Maybe you guys bring it a lot more.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's true.
Really depends.
But I do got some stats for you.
Love it. Hit me with the stat.
Okay, these are all from Opta. So if anything is wrong, you're blaming Opta.
Tweet them.
We'll tweet them. Let them know. So this is Arsenal's first time in league history keeping 6 consecutive away clean sheets.
Wow.
Which is, I guess I was a little surprised by that. Like, I don't know. I feel like at some point along the history of league football, you would have got 6 away clean sheets back to back to back. But
this year?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And surprisingly, it's only bested by Chelsea in 2008 had 7, and Man United had 7 in 2009. So, I mean, I know away clean sheets are nothing easy, no easy feat, but I felt like one of these teams along the Premier League history would have just like to not even have a Man City of recent years there is what that was maybe, I guess, more surprising to me. But so I thought that was pretty cool. And then that also makes David Raya only the second keeper to keep 6 consecutive clean sheets, just behind Van der Sar from United in the 08-09 season with 7.
Okay.
So again, I don't know.
That's home or away? Home for
all
Raya?
that's just away.
Oh, just
consecutive away.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's cool. I think maybe got lucky with that Villa game being at home, but we take it as it comes, and great for Arsenal. I think it's there's been a lot of negative press and talk about Arsenal after the past week of like, oh, their season's blown in 3 days, and it's maybe not ending as we all dreamed and hoped it might, but I think it's still important to end the season strong and not fully collapse, and then to have like moments like this where it pops up of you're achieving these difficult things and still progressing, still moving in the right direction. So still excited to move forward. Just got to win the games, right? Like, play again on Tuesday. If we win there, we're at 77 points. That's 4 points ahead of City. Yeah,
that's
they got
pressure.
games in hand. But
that's pressure on City. Yeah, for sure.
Especially if Liverpool does it too. That's 2 teams above you. We're putting the pressure on. They're not getting the easy path here.
No, and it's funny too, because I'm thinking the exact same way. Like, if we say City wins their next game, both of us lose the title by 2 points. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not trying to like just give in and be like, yeah, City's gonna win, but that's a really good title race to be right under City and keep City this close with 2 teams. That's pretty incredible. And I saw the question floating around too in the Liverpool subreddit. And this goes the same for Arsenal too. It's like, would you define this season as a success? And I won't speak for you, but for Liverpool, pretty big success in terms of how many new players we're rostering, how many second-year players who are finally getting back in the team we're rostering. Our whole midfield is new. The news of Klopp dropping in the middle of the season is like, that's a crazy thing. And we're still...
That could have thrown the whole season on, a whole different course.
Could have went either way. And luckily, it's been looking pretty damn good up until one bad week, which everyone kind of gets one. Ours just happened to be with 7 games left in the season.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd say that I feel the same way about Arsenal. It's like winning the league or even FA Cup or, progressing further in the Champions League are all great things, but I've seen this Arsenal team be much, much worse than this. And like to see it continue to get better year over year. And, last season, they got kind of tired around the same point and just like kind of really fell apart. But then for them to get tired here, there's still issues and things that need to be solved. Cool. But like, it's not, as of right now, not like a full collapse, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're still performing good and getting the goals and getting the away clean sheets. It's I think it like sport and being a fan of sport is, you can't like simplify it down to like, oh, you didn't win the trophy, so season was a failure and yada yada yada. Like there's so many little like nuances in there that you probably should look for, but I think at least online a lot of people want to play the game of like, well, you blew the league, so like wrap it up, just put the kids out there,
Yeah, luckily with footy, you get qualifications for other tournaments that you don't really see in any other sport, so that that adds to the positives on a season too. And it feels like we're dropping mad copium right now because of what's to come. But it's the truth. It really is. Arsenal going back to Champions League for the second year in a row. Liverpool going back to Champions League after being out of it for a year, with will probably be a very interesting squad going into next year. Who knows what will happen if whatever happens to the roster. I'll be shocked, but we're gonna get a new coach regardless, unless Klopp does a 180. So right there, that's a new Champions League era for us. So like just looking into the future, I think it's very bright for both our teams. And with City, I don't know, I feel like they peaked last year. And like, even though they're winning this year, like how do they keep going up? Like, what's their next step?
I mean, it sounded like their big squad goal was to do the back-to-back trebles. And then, that fell apart. And which, they got knocked out of Champions League. And people don't want to give Real Madrid credit for doing that. They want to say they got lucky, like City outplayed them. Maybe, but that's Champions League, right? It's a knockout tournament at this point. Like, that's just how it goes. And I think it's so funny that, like, a lot of the talk on Arsenal and Liverpool was like, oh, like, season's blown. They're, out of Champions League, out of Europa, lost to Palace and Villa. Like, where's the talk about City? Like, their dream of a double treble back-to-back is blown because they're out. Like, it wasn't any of that. It was just Real Madrid got lucky. They didn't deserve to go through. It was like,
which I don't think that at all. I think Madrid is the better team on paper right now. They have so much momentum going for them. It's a weird media bias.
Yeah,
it's definitely interesting. There's something looming out there with City that I still feel unsure about. Are you good on Arsenal? Got that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Got
like
that
I said,
Tuesday
it's
match.
Nice to get that one and roll into Chelsea now and see how that goes. Let's see what Chelsea shows up.
It's a great statement. With them, you really don't know. You're gonna get top.
Yeah.
You getting top 10 Chelsea or bottom 10 Chelsea?
Well, we'll see on the day. We'll see how everyone wakes up, and the only one that'll show up will be Cole Palmer for sure. But everyone else, I don't know.
Coin flip. All right, Chad. If you don't mind, we're gonna get into Liverpool here.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got the win. Fulham, I think, is a really they're a lot better team than last year, that's for sure.
Mhm.
You know, when we last played them, they brought us down to the very end. I think this game we were hungrier for a win just because this was like we needed a bounce back so bad. But it felt awkward. This was kind of an awkward win. Scoring 3 goals, it was just like we're still capable of doing this. And it was like it was almost like we couldn't believe it. Klopp's energy today was kind of weird. He's been sitting now on the bench for like the last 2 games every now and then.
That.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people are noticing. And usually for the full 90, he's on his feet.
Yeah.
So does he look kind of tired? A little. Is he maybe, I don't want to say embarrassed, but just kind of like worn out just from how this season's been going, and like he doesn't really believe in this team as much, and so it's kind of rubbing off on the players. I don't know. What I did notice at the end, though, when he gave the fist pumps to the away crowd, he looked hesitant. And I was like, it did. I mean, if you go watch it, it was like, they were like, come on. He's like, oh, okay. Like kind of like, I feel like I don't deserve to give this fist pump to you. That's what it looked like. So I don't know if he's not feeling like he's doing his best.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not that big picture, but maybe just in this game, you know, he didn't feel like it was the performance that he wanted it to be, and you know, maybe didn't deserve that celebration from him. But I mean, a win's a win, especially to like get back into winning ways and scoring some goals. I think is
right.
You know, a big moment to celebrate. So
you know, it wasn't the cleanest win. I think we can recognize that, but we found the back of the net 3 times.
Yeah.
Gravenbach has to be guarded now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Can't just let him float at the top of the box.
No, like he's going to be respected a little bit more now when he plays. Trent back is a miracle. That's big because now it's just psychological. Other teams are going to be preparing for his free kicks. And then I did like the move by Klopp today of kind of having the B guys go out there and start the game. Especially because we've been seeing those guys kind of rotate in, and the star players, they're, you know, our first team coming out. I like this kind of switch. Like, you know, let's take all the energy that we had in Italy last week. Most of you guys who were playing, you know, rest, be on the bench. Let's get Gakpo in there, who played great today. Easily player of the match. And then just seeing Jota start for the first time in a long time. Gravenbach there. Endo playing the full 90. It's like, okay. And Konate not playing. I think, you know, we talked about this. Like, those guys coming back, I think, threw things off a little bit. It just like, it was too fast. And I kind of like this intertwined motion of having the guys who were there originally with a couple of the subs coming in. I think it's a good way to kind of get this back on track within the last 5 games. Again, it's not like we're out, down and out. We were just kind of, we just had a little went a little sideways for a minute. But I'm happy we won. That would have been, if we would have dropped points today, man.
Yeah. It's I mean, you're the same spot as Arsenal. Everything is must win at this point. Yeah, you know, I think first half especially looked very much like it could go either way. I think you can maybe thank Polinia for coming out mega aggressive today and making some crazy late challenges, and you know, setting up what Harvey Elliott took that first free kick, which almost worked. They spotted that no one was laying down,
right?
So he went for it, and you know, I think he almost got it right, just a little too high. But then for Polinia to, you know, all right, you tried it on this side, let me just do the tackle on this side now, and I mean, that's just Trent's bread and butter right there. So
the dude's fantastic on defense. He's very aggressive in most of the right ways, but as soon as he gets that yellow card, it's like he has to shut it all off. 13 yellow cards, EPL season leader. 13's a lot, man, and I'm pretty sure he's played half of those games because he didn't play for a couple because of the suspension. He didn't play in the beginning of the season because of the transfer, or the looming transfer. I want to say he's only played in half these games. So
could be. I mean, he definitely missed
29. He's played 29 games.
Okay. I mean, that's a good chunk of games to miss out on. And to now still have 13 yellows in 29 is quite a hefty number.
But no reds.
Which I'll give him credit because I mean, like you said, he knows he gets that yellow. He's like, all right, I gotta step back. Like he's not like a Casemiro or like a Xhaka when we were trying to make him like some destroyer in the back that just no regard for the yellow for the situation.
Yeah.
Like
He's like, I'm gonna kill someone next.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I think like you said, good to see the rotation, right? Like, yeah, Salah, big name that we're used to seeing start pretty much every game, but like he's also getting older. He's also, maybe not been in the best form of lately, and to have the opportunity to just put anyone over there and give him some rest, I think is big. Kind of same with Nunez. Is like, dude runs a lot, and I think his form has been fine. He's just he misses some shots, and I don't know. It might be good to take him out every once in a while and just kind of like reset him.
What I love about Nunez is, of course, he's going to have a plentiful amount of opportunities to score, which I believe he's league leading, but one of the lowest conversion rates. That's okay. I'd rather him be doing those runs over and over and over again and still missing, because it's just showing opportunity. And previously in the season, he did note that he wasn't starting, and he was so content with that because he's like, I want to make this team win. And I really do believe bringing him in the last 25 sometimes is like chaos for another team, because he is so fast. And I did like today, I mean, he was on the pitch for maybe a minute or two and had a pretty good opportunity that I wish he would have put on frame. I definitely gave him like dude, just shoot it at the keeper, like just on target. Yeah. And Leno played great today too. I think this game could have been worse than it was. He made some great saves.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it was just different. It was good to see. It was just a different Liverpool team out there. Man, when Jota's not hurt, it's a blessing. It's so nice to have him. Diaz on the right was fun too. I definitely thought out loud, if we sell this guy, we're crazy. Because it's like, if he can just take it up one more notch, just like if he's an 8 out of 10, if he could get to 9 out of 10, dude, he'd be insane. He really would. He's like just missing that extra little sort of finish, or just it's crazy. He's right there. He's right there.
He always does like 8 to 9 tenths of like everything that he needs to do, and then just ends up being that like final little piece that doesn't quite connect.
Right. And it can be on all parts of his game, not just shooting. It's because sometimes his dribbling is 10 out of 10, right? And then other times like his passing is like 6 out of 10. It's like, well, if you like can make that a 7 out of 10 here, then it's like then you're next level. And I do believe he can get there. I really hope we don't sell him to PSG. I know it's a lot of money on the table. This feels different from Coutinho, because I feel like there's a lot of 10s out there that you can get, a lot of good passers. But I feel like right now our wingers are pretty scarce.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to watch Liverpool in the summer too, because obviously you got a new coach coming in. I think Liverpool will be pretty hesitant to make any big sells before whoever it is comes in and has some sort of game plan figured out. Because I mean, I think that would just be bad business, right? To like bring in someone new with new ideas, fresh ideas, and be selling potentially key players before he's even there and given a chance to implement anything. So,
dude, it's terrifying. It's really scary. This team could just, I don't know. I mean, what if they don't buy in next year? What if like Virgil's like, no, dude, not doing this?
That could happen too. So it's going to be a weird summer and a weird next season, I think, for Liverpool. But I think there's a lot of good parts to the puzzle already there. It'll just be if the new guy can get them all working together,
whoever that is.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I just want Liverpool to be like, all right, last game of the season, done, Klopp, bye. Here's the new guy. Like, just go quick.
Yeah, that might already be the case.
Yeah.
We don't know. I didn't really want to talk about coaching just yet because I do want to focus on this season and what's important. But I think they're doing that on purpose, though, not to make it a huge distraction, right? The distraction of Klopp leaving is big enough. Now you got to know who's replacing him in like a month. Like that's even more pressure. So yeah, that wouldn't shock me. Or if we actually like bow, I don't want to say we bow out of the competition, but say we lose the next one, right? And it's like City has a game in hand at that point. So then they go up. They'd go up 8 points if we lose the next one and win the next two.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would seal it, right? I think we'd all understand that it's probably over. Then I could see transition start to happen, but
sure, yeah.
Until we're dead, y'all can.
That's it.
Y'all can chill.
Yeah.
Stay over there.
The season's still live, so
Crazy.
Go till the end.
So we all sweaty, Chad.
I mean, look, you're still top of the table. Ish behind on goal differential, but
isn't that sick though? It just doesn't even feel like it. Is that awful?
Is that sick? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's kind of gross. You're sitting number 2 right now, top of the league in points. Yet you're still like not feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly doesn't feel as good as when you were like securely up top, right? But,
well, I always knew, even because it was never. What was our biggest point lead this season? Maybe 3 points.
I think
maybe. If it was, it felt like we were always a game in hand or something.
Yeah, I think it was 3, and then because Arsenal is still right behind, and then I don't know. There's some draws in there for Liverpool. I think that let Arsenal back into it or like catch up. Something like that. I don't know.
We drew City. And then you guys passed us.
It was probably a few weeks ago, but like, who knows? Yeah, but I think as long as both Arsenal and Liverpool just keep giving it their all, especially Liverpool play Tuesday or Wednesday as well.
Weverton. Everton Wednesday.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if Arsenal can win against Chelsea, Liverpool can win against Everton. Yeah, City has those games in hand, so like really they're not third, but like that is still pressure for them to perform not only once, but potentially twice. Like
we get to say, come back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Come get us.
So, yeah, I'm like I said it earlier with the game, I'm cautiously confident. I think that's just how I'm going forward with this season, with game by game, with where we're at in the table.
Dude, we just need other teams to do something. It's just out of our hands. What are we gonna do?
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
We've done all we can do. It's on to the Brightons of the world, and
please,
please, we'll see. Yeah,
please. All right, I got my Liverpool vent out. Good vent. It was a good vent. Yeah. You want to talk VAR really quick?
Yeah, we probably should.
There's a couple floaters out there with the City handball. I might want to talk about that, even though it's cup related.
Well, there was also one in the United game too.
Right. And it's one of those, there's this picture, there's this picture. It's the same picture, different outcomes. Yeah. I don't know, man. When I watched that Jack Grealish handball, I had like flashbacks to what Bournemouth had to go through last week. And Chelsea this time, man, y'all got screwed.
Yeah, Chelsea actually deserved a little bit more here for once, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what was seen to make them think that shouldn't be a handball. Like,
all right, Chad, we did this last week. Your VAR. Tell me why that's a PK.
Oh God. I mean, look, for me, it was certainly a handball, right? The wall jumps, the wall kind of breaks. Grealish, I think, has his arm out to maybe not pull back whoever he's next to, but at least like try and maintain the wall. But now his arm is away from his body in a unnatural playing area. For me, it hits his arm enough, and I don't think there's enough to show that it like came off of his side and then hit his arm to try and play that argument, which is probably the argument they're playing.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, it's we need the audio. I think the last mic'd up thing they did was like 5 months ago now. Like, you're telling me no VAR decision has been worth talking about for 5 months?
Oh, absolutely not. There's been one. What feels like every week.
Yeah.
I do love that Instagram channel of the guy who does the impersonations of what the VAR room looks like, and I'm gonna go try to find this one. I'm sure he's making one.
Sure.
But it's, man, this one just blows my mind with how his arm was out, and the thought process. I do believe you. I do think he was trying to catch his teammate to either not reel him back in, but to keep the wall close, and he messed it up.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And
that's how it goes.
I just don't understand how it just isn't seen that way, or the refs who are seeing this and they're seeing these arms go flying out.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they deeming it some natural? I guess I understand that it's making it a natural movement by jumping, but when you stretch your arms out to a certain degree,
yeah,
you can just tell. You can tell it's not natural. And that is the one case where I've seen where it's not like you're keeping your arms by your side and like they're not slowly rising up. His arm was out.
It was out. It was there to play the ball, and it did. And I've run out of words to say things about bad VAR calls, but we got more to go over. So
okay, well, that was non-EPL related. The Everton drama with Forest today. Yesterday. That was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't really hear anything about it until I think maybe this morning I saw posts about it. And at first I just saw a screen cap of the Twitter post from Forest, right. And I just assumed it was some fan account or whatever, but no, just the official account posting this, which is kind of wild already on its own. Typically teams in any sport don't want to put out ideas of corruption in the reffing or really take a stance on any issue, sport or not. They want to play it neutral, but Forest, I think they're just in a position where relegation is right on their tail. The drop down is, a significant loss in money compared to staying up. I think you go to bat for this. I don't know what could really come of it, but you gotta kind
of. Do you think they're pulling this out of their hey man, we're running out. We need to make sure we stay up. Let's also bring this up. So you're saying if they were 9th or 8th right now, this wouldn't be an issue?
I think it might be an issue, but I don't know if you are making this post if you're safely secure mid-table. I think, especially if you're gonna, the VAR ref is a known Luton fan, and Luton is the one on their tails, right? I don't know. I think it is just fair to call out regardless of where they were on the table, but I think even more so for them just to kind of shine a spotlight on the bad reffing that not only here, but they've had complaints throughout the season. Not I don't know what could come of it either way. Like, I don't think if they end up falling into relegation and get relegated and like then something comes out that like, oh yeah, the Luton fan did, sway the vote here. Like, you're not getting moved up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's. I mean, I think it's always where teams should be able to kind of call out these things, whether it's maybe not club level, but at least the managers, right? Like,
Sure.
I'd say managers and captains, maybe. Like, those are your two mouthpieces of the club that should be able to talk to the refs, should be able to get like the actual info and on the call and why from the ref, and like should be able to kind of have that constructive criticism, of some of the calls. And yeah, I don't know. I'm with Forrest on this, but a little bit of it just feels like not like a last ditch effort, but a I don't bringing like the spotlight on it when relegation is looming, I guess.
Yeah, the timing of it is. I think you're right. If this was 2 months ago, would it be as big of an issue? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
What I do think they're right about is maybe 2 out of 3 of those calls probably should have been PKs. So just focus on the light of VAR's terrible. If we just take that, I think a lot of people would be like, well, yeah, they've been terrible for a chunk of this season. Just, welcome to the club. Really interested to see what the whole Luton fan ordeal is, because if it's a guy who's from the town and is kind of a casual about it, but like, oh, he's from Luton, like we need to look at, okay, well, I feel like that's not as big of an issue as what it's making out to be. But this guy is actively writing on social media like Luton must do everything just like, that's what I'm saying. Like how bad is this degree of this referee showing his fandom?
As far as I know, like when the refs, I don't know, sign up to be a ref or whatever, like you have to kind of declare like what team you support. So I don't think it's any secret that he's a Luton fan, even to PGMOL. So, okay, Forrest can bring this up to them, and then maybe they go and speak to him and say, like, look, I know like Forrest is not like a rival of Luton, but positionally in the table, it's right there, and it's one step to staying up and not. So, are you able to put any of that feeling aside and stay professional? And I think that's maybe the most checks you could do in that situation, right? Like if you get into always moving refs off of games because of who they support, I don't know, that's a lot of moving pieces that I don't think any reffing organization would really want to keep up with.
Yeah, I understand that. I think it makes it tough. I do think, and that's it's hard to say, because it's like, what type of fan is he?
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. So why would Forrest need to call out this ref? Right? I'm sure, I have a feeling, don't know, Forrest has probably been screwed over by VAR more than once this season, besides just this game. At some point, did they ever call out that ref on who their fan, who they were a fan of? Probably not. Yeah. So the title race is close. I think this did come up at a time that might have worked best for them. You know what they did do, right? We're all paying attention to it.
Yeah.
They got the message out, and we're all looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. Like, I think there should be additional pressure on VAR from clubs. Like, a lot of these decisions, can be not only game changing, but season changing. Whether this game happens this weekend or it happened like the first weekend, that's 3 points you lost that potentially you could have at least gotten a draw from, if not more. And with how Forest season has played out, like that would have been 3 points more towards safety. So I don't think the timing should play as much of a role as it did. I think clubs and managers and stuff should be able to just kind of call this out as it happens, Because VAR should be a smooth process that always tries to find the right outcome. I agree. I don't necessarily want it to re-ref games, but
Right.
there's so many situations where we say like, okay, VAR just overruled this, but like, why not just have the on-field ref who's making the final decision go look at the screen so he can decide, rather than Luton fan up in the VAR room just
For sure.
deciding what goes and what doesn't. So
So
I also want to point out it was Anthony Taylor on this game, so it just adds to the Anthony Taylor lore of being a bad ref.
So that's something I didn't actually look into. Did Anthony Taylor look at any of these?
I don't know. I didn't get to watch the game, and in all the highlights I've seen, there's none of the highlight packages really focus in on the fouls. There's the one little segment on NBC Sports where they just show the foul, and that was it. They don't really mention if it was checked. But as far as I understand, I don't think anything really was checked. Not at least to the point of sending Anthony Taylor to the monitor to have another look.
Yeah, I doubt he actually did. I feel like Forest wouldn't have made the statement they did if he would have.
Yeah.
It doesn't look to be that way. I don't believe he went over to the monitor. So,
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, which I mean is just that's it certainly highlights the issue that VAR has in its current implementation, right? Is like, okay, you look at the foul on Reina, like, I think if that's called live a penalty, it probably stands. If it's called live not a penalty, I think that it was one of those like kind of gray area. Yeah, there's contact, but yeah. So I think that one is fine. I'm okay to throw that one aside. But I think the second one, Young's arm is basically like fully extended, right? And ball comes up and hits it. And okay, if you don't want to call it a penalty live, fine. Maybe you thought, the ball was too close, but that should be one where VAR steps in and just, hey, go look. I'm not saying one thing or another, but just like have another look, right?
You make it sound so easy for them. Like, hey, just go have it.
But I feel like it could be that easy.
I agree with you. It should be that easy. It should.
Yeah. Your sole purpose up in that VAR booth, drawing the lines, showing everyone the lines, and if there's a situation where it's a penalty or a foul that should be a red or whatever, just like, hey, Anthony, just go look. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but just go look.
You are the assistant.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a tool.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's all it has to be. But
they're the operator.
They've gotten confused, I think, on their own designation of what VAR is, and like they want to now re-ref the game, which they've said, time and time again, that's not what we want to do. But like,
they are,
if not re-reffing, you are reffing.
They are becoming the overlord of refs.
Yeah,
and I don't know. We got to make a stand. I feel like there's going to be some egos hitting soon. VAR is going to say no, we're right, and I feel like a ref's going to be like, I don't think you are. And they're like, what are you going to do about it? And then it's going to be like a standoff. That's what it has to come to at this point, I think, or else
probably.
I don't know what else would change. Refs and VAR are going to have to butt heads.
Yeah, it's going to have to be something like that, and I don't know. I think you could go a long way too of just, you use the same on-field ref pool as you do for the VAR ref pool, right? Like, so just separate that. And like, you guys are on-field refs. You guys are like trained video assistant refs, and like that's it. Like, yeah, some friendships and relationships will develop over time there anyway. There's no escaping that. But at least it's not like now Anthony Taylor up in the booth. Well, if I was on the field, I would have called it this way, And I think that's a lot of what's happening is they're all trying to put their own little input into it.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So do you think Forest should have gotten at least one?
I'd say two. I
Two.
think the handball and then the last foul. I mean, Young just comes to the back of Hudson-Odoi. And
That's the easiest one.
hit the ball.
That's the easiest one.
That one, if you're gonna get one, like that's the one. Like, so I get Forest frustration there. I'm just kind of interested to see what comes because, like, what they end their tweet with, like, we're gonna take the necessary actions or something. Like, what does that mean?
What does that mean, dude? They're coming for you. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Necessary action? Are they gonna sue EPL? What are they like?
I don't know.
We're gonna make our own league.
Yeah. Maybe. So
it could mean
something to keep an eye on for sure.
Look, Forrest, I understand these calls went against you and they were terrible calls. You still lost to Everton. Everton is not a good team. I get psychologically they might have been off because of all of it, but at the same time, you can't.
I mean, frankly, both the goals they let up were just, I feel like, easily saved goals, dude, honestly.
Moving in slow motion. They were hard shots. They were driven. But, man, let's just shoot from 30 yards out and see what happens.
For real. Like, for both goals to be, like, the same kind of goal, right, is just silly. Because, like, yeah, it's a good hard shot, but it's not like a rocket into the top corner where you have to make some crazy diving save. It's just, moving along the ground and you're just caught on your heels twice, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think some of it was maybe blocked, but, like, you're a professional keeper. I think you should be quick enough to make that save.
Yeah. I think those are tough. I do. Like, he was just so far out. That's where I'm like, okay, I think he probably should have done better. I do think they were great shots, nonetheless. Oh, yeah. Like, credit to Yehi and McNeil. McNeil's shot too was like, that was hit hard. But I do agree, it was from so far away. I do feel like the keeper should have gotten there. I'm sure Matt Turner is.
Matty too would have done it. I don't know. I've seen my guy make that dive.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, okay, you're in the same position that you're currently in. So it's like, why do you have three why are you starting three? The problem with Forest is they've had three different starting keepers and a whole rotation of everyone but, man, Gibbs White and maybe Nico Williams. Mario New Niakate's been in and out. Reyna Hudson-Odoi has really been coming on late. Alenga was kind of their guy for a while. Chris Wood, late addition. So, like, there's so much rotation in this squad. I'd be shocked to see what their numbers look like as far as the most consistent team on the pitch. I get it. Yeah. Nuno's figuring things out, but, bro, you got 5 games left. You got to stay up.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
That's the thing, too, is like, it always kind of comes back to you got to do what you can to win the game regardless of which way a call goes, right? Like, you can't rely on VAR, obviously. You can't rely on the ref to always make the right decision. So take your shots, get the goals, and deal with the rest as it comes. But I certainly don't think Forest played well enough to get away with a win. I think if they did off of these penalties, that would have been, maybe a little bit generous in that sense. But yeah, I don't know. It just makes the relegation battle more spicy for us neutral viewers. So
yeah, for sure. It's going to be a five team race. I still believe it. I think Everton. I don't know if you're safe all the way yet. I don't know yet. Forest, though, Luton, Burnley, Sheffield, could be either one.
Yeah. I think 5-team race is fair.
Everton's close.
Everton.
You're close.
Everton's got Liverpool next, then Brentford, then Luton, then Sheffield, and Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 of those matches are pretty big, neighbors down there. Sheffield is, the one I think we can all say is getting relegated. But,
right.
I think they're definitely not out of the race yet. I guess maybe we can transfer to Luton here because they could have taken a really big step this week to getting out of relegation, and certainly did the opposite.
No, Stangers up.
Stangers up.
Brentford out of nowhere. Scoring 5?
Without Tony.
That's got to be their biggest output this season, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't remember them popping off like that.
5 is top for them. Wisa, man, just doing whatever he wants. Mbumo looking really good. And this isn't even like their true 11 either. So
yeah,
I do think the Mbumo effect is real.
Yeah, I mean,
2 assists.
They were great up until they lost him through injury, right? Like,
yep.
So he's their Paqueta, right? Like he was missing, and now he's back, and they're kind of moving in the right direction again. But I mean, man, so much of this game was just Luton just not defending well at all.
Rough game for them.
Yeah. I think that one hurts. They're definitely, it didn't ruin their chances, but I was hoping they could just brush off the Man City game, make it that like one-off, like, you know, it's Man City, just do whatever and focus up on and move forward, because what they got, Wolves next, then Everton, so that'll be big, then West Ham and Fulham. So not the easiest of, you know, final games, but
not the hardest either. They're not the hardest. They could. I wouldn't put. Man, maybe I just believe in Luton too much, but I really wouldn't believe in, obviously, them winning all these games. But there's no way they lose all these games either.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, you won't have to win all the games, I don't think. You know,
we got to win 2.
Looking at Forest, Forest has City next. Then they have Sheffield, Chelsea, and Burnley. So, I would say, you know, Sheffield and Burnley should be straightforward wins, but you also didn't turn up against Everton. So, you know, it's hard to say which way it'll go. Honestly, it's I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch, fun to watch. I'm glad I don't have that stress, but you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a trip. God, I can't believe there's 4 left for those teams. Oh, we're so close.
Just checking Burnley real quick. Yeah, Burnley has Man U, Newcastle, Tottenham, and then Forest. So.
See, now with them, I wouldn't shock me if they lose all of them.
Yeah. That could happen for sure. I don't know. You're kind of right there still. So if Company can get the squad rallied and, you know, at least take a point off of United, or I mean, I think United's a big chance, honestly, with how United plays, that you could maybe get a point or more if you know, really focus in. So yeah, not out of it certainly, but
here's Burnley's opportunity right here. Tottenham goes and plays Chelsea May 2nd, Liverpool May 5th, and then Burnley May 11th, and then 3 days later City. That day they play Tottenham, Burnley and Tottenham. Tottenham might not play their dudes that game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
if they're fighting for Europe, sure, there's a chance, but it wouldn't shock me if they don't play, I don't know, their guys and they want to go against City with those guys 3 days later.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too, is Tottenham is still in that top 4 hunt. They're 2 games down and 6 points down, but you know, that could be level, you know, if they win both their games in hand. So yeah, that's a good point. They could maybe throw out some B team, rest some guys, and, you know, focus on some other games in there. So
I'd be circling that one for sure.
Yeah.
And then we talk a little bit about West Ham. Man. Yeah, Chad, if West Ham has, I don't even know where to begin with them, but I just want to talk about Palace really quick. If this was the Palace team that would have played Liverpool last week, I believe the same scoreline would have happened. Crystal Palace has like jumped again gears to this next level, and Olise and Eze are amazing. And if they sell those two, those two, I'm gonna throw Mateta in there too. I think their front three is solid.
Yeah, he's really connected with them too.
And their back line too is just so under control right now. Keeper issue. Hey, we'll talk about that. But
he didn't have his hat. Okay,
hey, you should have. If you take, obviously you can say this about a lot of teams, but if you just take their front three out or sell those guys next year, 2 out of 3 of them, this team is back to relegation again.
Yeah,
that's a hot take,
I'd
but
agree,
I really believe it. Those guys are so good at keeping this team alive and scoring goals, and without Eze and Olise, that's basically what we saw was a relegation type team for the last what's felt like 3 months.
Yeah, they got to figure out a way to keep Eze and Olise fit and playing games. I think they're working really well with Mateta up top. He's a big dude. He's got some pace on him. I like him. I don't know if you saw I think it was to Eze though. There's like a little, or Eze or Elise, I don't know. I forget who it was, but there's like a pass into him, and he has like a Giroud-esque like quick flick back to him. Like, if you're getting him to play that role plus be a goal threat, Eze and Elise playing off of him, they can find a left winger to bring in. Like, that's a strong attack, and I hope they kind of hang on to them at least for one more year. I think if any of those 3 go, I think it might be Eze. Elise, a lot of people love, but I think he has just been so injury prone that a lot of clubs will be afraid to take that risk. Mateta, I don't know if he goes too much higher than this. Like, he's a great player, but I don't know if he has
That's fair.
what it takes to really step up to that next level. But yeah, I mean, this was just Palace putting on a clinic, and I get West Ham at a valiant effort to try and take down Leverkusen midweek. And I think that showed here. They were all just dead and tired, and no one wanted to make the runs to defend, and even the goals they get were, well, one is very lucky in that Dean just eyes off the ball, but Antonio, he seems to always grab a goal a game, so that was almost written in stone. But yeah, wow, Palace came out of nowhere with a 5-goal thriller.
Didn't see that coming this weekend.
No, but they still are 14th, so they're right where they want to be.
Yeah, they'll get to
say
12.
Not too crazy.
12's their goal. And I don't know if they'll get to 12. They need Fulham and Bournemouth to kind of mess up. But before this win streak they're currently on, they won 2 games in the new year. Any guesses on who they might have beaten?
Who they might have beaten? I don't know if they've played yet, but I'm going to say Everton.
It wasn't Everton.
Not Everton.
Checking to see what they...
Sheffield.
Correct.
Everyone's beaten Sheffield. All right, I got one.
You got one. What's the other?
Did they... No. Chelsea.
No. It's Burnley.
Okay.
They took down the bottom 2, and then they decided to turn it up against Liverpool. And then they're going to ride this momentum out to Castle, Fulham, Man U, Wolves, and Aston Villa. Which that last game of the season for Aston Villa, that could be a real doozy for them.
Yeah, that's true. All right, yeah, not the most straightforward ending for Palace, but
but they could change the tides of teams.
Yeah, if they play like this, even if they don't win the games, at least make some teams sweat a little bit. So
if they play like this, they're top 8. West Ham's top 8.
that's true. That's true.
Today they just clearly showed how much better they are than West Ham, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
do you think now, season ends, David Moyes is actually going?
Yeah.
You think he's donezo?
Yeah, Tuchel rumors trickling in.
For West Ham?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
I can kind of see it.
I think that could work.
Right?
I mean, I'd say West Ham's recruitment has been pretty good in recent years, not everyone paying off, but some good options. The Kudus pick is big. Alvarez in the midfield is big. Paqueta, if they can hang on to Paqueta, I know City's looking at him too. But
I think City's gonna get him.
Probably, but that's what 80 million or whatever for West Ham to play with, and I still don't think they've really spent too much of that Declan Rice money. So
yeah, no,
if you're gonna bring in Tuchel, just give him the support he needs with the players he needs, and could probably get you back up there. We've seen this West Ham team go on these great runs, especially it seems like at the start of seasons they start pretty hot. So the players are there.
Oh, if they didn't start as hot, they wouldn't be 8th. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think David Moyes is fine at what he does, but I think West Ham in this squad is maybe outgrowing him a touch and trying to break through, but Moyes' tactics or team selection isn't really allowing them to do that. So, although I do want to say one thing about West Ham fans, because I went and looked in their subreddit after the Leverkusen loss, and that came right after Arsenal going out against Bayern. They are still so salty about Rice leaving.
Really?
They had a post up there of Rice, his first ever European semifinal exit and stuff. I was like,
yeah, rent free.
Yeah, I was like, this guy just led you to the Europa Conference League title last season, got you 100 million. I get we all love a player who's from the club and there a long time, all that, but I don't know. That ship was sailing, whether it was Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, whoever it was going to be. He was not staying there. So funny to see them still so salty, but I was just surprised it is still going on.
God, when are they going to get over it?
For real. Move on.
That's funny. That's when you have a great player, when the other team is still complaining about it.
Yeah.
Wow, shocking. I kind of get that to a degree. Liverpool was like that with Raheem Sterling once upon a time.
That's fair.
He was a lot younger, and he didn't win us anything. But
I get it. If Saka went somewhere, that sucks. We all bought into him and saw him kind of come up for a few seasons and play such a key role.
Right.
But I mean, that's how the sport is going. You don't really have those one club players anymore, and as much as we all want it, a lot of these guys will either follow the money or follow the trophy success, or to play in Champions League and stuff, which I mean, your career is relatively short, right? So you kind of have to do it if you have that option.
Yep. Don't hate the player.
Yeah, that's it.
Last game we haven't talked about, Aston Villa, Bournemouth. Bournemouth came out really strong. I thought they were going to win this game, and then Aston Villa kind of broke them down a little bit in the back line. This late surge by Villa seems to be paying off for Emery. Don't know what he's telling them, but late goals are coming, and they're looking good.
I mean, they look a little better. Bit, yeah. Better, I think, is a good way to say it. They're not where they were, but they look... I'm more confident in them keeping top 4 than I have been in a few weeks now. So that's nice to see. Nice to see them really kind of focusing in and going for it now. And I mean, they're the last English team in any European competition. So
go get them.
Yeah, keep going. If you can do top 4 and win the Conference League, that's a fantastic season
for sure.
So
hell yeah. I wish this was the team that showed up to play City a couple weeks back, right? It's a very different squad of what we saw today versus City, even though it is Bournemouth. Energy looked good. Everyone's pouncing when Watkins is throwing balls across the box. I feel like a couple of weeks ago, everyone was on their heels when Watkins would shoot because they were going in a lot of the times, but no one was really reacting. And I feel like he hit this lull, right, of no goals. People were flat-footed on his shots, not bouncing to get the rebounds, and now we're seeing that happen again, and now they're going on this streak. So I don't know. I believe they'll make top 4, which would be awesome because then it means almost 3/4 of my preseason predictions are accurate, which is, I think, I gotta give a little props to myself that it worked out. Yeah, they just look better. Emery tapped into something, and maybe it's because the end of Europa's coming, right? So they're kind of like, let's win Europa, and it just happens to, feed off into Premier League. But it's working.
Yeah, I mean, they just looking at their run in here. They got Chelsea next, then they got their first game against Olympiacos, then Brighton, then their second game against Olympiacos. And Liverpool, then Palace. So not super straightforward with those European games in there, but they're kind of in that same position that Arsenal and Liverpool are right now. Like they have that 6-point lead, quote unquote, on Tottenham. Tottenham still has 2 games in hand, but like that's still pressure. And we've seen this Tottenham team just turn up or not. Like it just, there's no telling what team's gonna really come out that day.
It's been hard to tell at times. Well, dang, no City this weekend, no Man United, no Chelsea, no Tottenham. Is that the 4?
No.
What did I miss?
Newcastle. So then, Brighton as well.
Brighton, of course. That's a chunk. It's a chunk missing. But
yeah.
What sucks on the table right now is the teams that have 32 or less games played. Chelsea being the only one with 31. But
31, wow.
I know. So hypothetically, they catch up right now, get to 34 games played with an additional 9 points, puts them at 56, Chad. That puts them in 6th place.
Wow. Could you imagine?
I did. Top, I said top 4.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But having spent, almost the whole season in 10th or 11th, and then if you potentially could end up right there at the top in the top 6 mix.
That's wild. And you could potentially get to number 5 if Tottenham really drops the ball here, which they already did last week. It could happen again. You guys take on Tottenham on Tuesday. They lose that game too. That's like Chelsea's eyes get bigger and bigger, which is just crazy to think about this team that is so dysfunctional, yet kicking other teams' asses. It's like it's made for TV, and that's why we're watching. That's why
the drama is great. The script writers know what they're doing.
So entertaining. I'm here for every step of the way. I think we did it. I think we got through all our games.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Should we get to our weekly awards?
Yeah.
We did a little talk about it, but I do have to give a not player of the week. It's got to be Dean Henderson, man. You guys almost had a perfect game. Almost. And that was up there with one of the worst keeper errors this season. I know the ball's a little bouncy, but that was one I was like, you could have done a lot better.
In my notes, I just said, get the hat out. He couldn't see. So hopefully he just plays that too. It's like, someone had a laser in the crowd, blinded me for a split second.
Like, Dean, no, they didn't. We can see you.
Yeah, that was not good. I mean, lucky for him, it came at a pretty inconsequential time. But man, could you imagine if that was game defining?
Dude, no, and that's why I don't think he'll be on Crystal Palace next season.
It's fair,
Yeah, he's one where if he sticks around and no one else does, good luck.
Yeah,
good luck. All right. Teams, Chad. Teams.
I got Brentford and Palace.
Good shouts.
But yeah, between the two, I think I probably lean Palace just because, you look at the table and West Ham is above them by 6 positions. And I mean, they defended poorly, but Luton just defended so poorly on so many goals there for Brentford, which
don't lie, West Ham did too.
Yeah. West Ham was bad too, but like,
not that.
I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. I'm good either way on it, honestly, but I think I lean Palace on this one.
Oh, I'm leaning Palace hard too. 2 weeks in a row, man, and I'm a Palace hater. Been a Palace hater since like mid last season, but now they're starting to grow on me. Now I beg them not to sell their players for at least one season. If you can have a healthy season with these guys, see what can happen. So yeah, Palace 2 weeks in a row. If you want to make it a third, crush Newcastle.
Yeah, there you go.
See what happens.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, why not? All right, goal, Chad. Goal.
Whew, got some options.
Yep.
I mean, sticking on the Palace theme, Eze's goal.
I know. So cool.
Great. You love to see a little scissor kick bike hybrid thing, but to do that off of just like a quick deflection, I think is just made it look so much sweeter and got so much power on that.
Yeah, it was a charge up. I couldn't believe how much load time he had in there. And that was a fun goal. It's cool to see that guy pop off. I really do like him. Mm-hmm. Don't sell him, or else you're gonna find out how good he can actually be. I say it for the third time.
Yeah. Trent's free kick.
Lovely.
Obviously, we love a good free kick.
Yep.
Gravenberg, great hit, top of the box.
Yep.
Found it right at the side there, and I had both Trossard and Odegaard on here. I think I maybe lean Odegaard on it just because it's that tight angle and like to get it between post and keeper is probably not planned, but I'm going to say he meant it. So
Saw should have done better there, I think too. Great. I'm not taking away from Odegaard. I'm just saying that felt very uncharacteristic of Sarr to let a goal go in near post.
Yeah,
when he was almost facing the player.
I think you're probably assuming he's trying to wrap it around you, go like, far post, but it was also such a hard angle. I don't think you could like. I mean, I guess maybe that's what his thought was, that it was a hard angle, so he could kind of leave the near post a little bit more. But I mean, it is. I don't know. Definitely could have done better, but
Odegaard did it.
See.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from Odegaard. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, McNeil's shot.
Yep. I
like the power on it. Again, I think keeper maybe could do better there, but I don't know. Not a keeper. And then I got Wissa's first goal. I thought was pretty great. So,
well, we pretty much listed off all the same goals here. The only one you didn't shout out was the Mateta goal, where this is why I'm giving it to Eze for all of them because I like the shot a lot, but the Mateta goal is a close second. Chad, he had time to swivel his body in 3 different angles in a matter of 3 seconds, which is just crazy that no one got to him in that time. That goal fascinated me so much because he got to look at the keeper and say, I'm not going to go this way, I'm not going to go this way, or this way. And the keeper got to see all 3 angles and no one jumped on him. It was fascinating to watch. Terrible defending. I couldn't believe West Ham for that. I was so disappointed. But hey, did him dirty.
I mean, look, you got to take advantage of a team that's tired, not defending well, whatever it might be. So
they were slow. They were slow. But as they are Trent.
Yeah. I like Trent's goal, but you just don't see enough of the bikes and scissor kick things. So I think Eze's got it for me.
Yep, he got my start too. Good pick. Mm-hmm. For player this week, I liked Eze a lot this week. I thought he did great. Mateta 2. Wissa, I think is going to get the nod for me just because he made Brentford go up early.
Yeah.
And to be honest, those 2 goals might have just solidified them staying in the Premier League. So I feel like the context behind those goals, obviously first one for getting in the lead, but the second one is like, you feel good when you're up 2-0. So
yeah, definitely.
I feel like that goal had so much more meaning for it than it kind of showed. And I feel like deep down Brentford recognized what that victory meant in terms of the year. And it was definitely a sigh of relief, you know?
I mean, to do so well and get a big win without Tony, which, I think has been the talking point around Brentford for like the whole season of,
right.
Tony's not there. And, even I said, without Tony, they just need to like find some stability and survive until he gets back. And then he comes back, he does a little bit, but now he's injured-ish. He's not ready. He's not ready. So, to be able to do that without him, I think is a big like mental win for them as well.
Right.
And Mbumo's back, and that's a key part in all that too. But I like that pick. The only other one I want to add is Watkins. Got 2 assists on the day.
Yeah.
And I think both of them were situations where we've seen him just take the shot before. So I think it was good just have that composure to look up and find the pass and find like the easy goal rather than going for gold and stacking your numbers, but at the same time like making sure the team gets the win. So
he's got to be close to leading the Premier League in assists.
In assists,
Stat check. He's got to be up there. Oh, he is with 12.
12, okay.
Yep, 12 got him there. Trippier and Pascal Gross right behind him.
Oh, dang. Yeah, so I mean, it's good to see. It's just good to see him almost have that like Darwin moment where it's like, I don't need to take every single shot. Sometimes there's that easy, better pass for the tap-in goal.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I also plays into like he needs his teammates up there with him, which we saw when they weren't looking so good. He was often alone, so he had to take the shot. So
yeah, Diaby and Bailey kind of running on the flats, trying to get in behind him, or at least just far post, right, waiting for the rebound. That happened twice today. Yeah, effectively twice. So lean into that more, and good things will come because that's exactly what happened. They got it done. All right. I know we talked about one meme. Gosh, can you remind me what I sent you? It was I sent it. I think I DM'd it to you. It was an interesting scenario. I'm gonna close my video here really quick, because oh man, it was a really interesting situation between 2 players.
Was it the goalie?
Yes.
With the laser pointer?
With the laser, complaining about the laser, and then he was hiding it. Where did I text you that? I must have texted it to you.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm looking for it now too, and I can't.
It might have been on Instagram or something, but that was I've never heard of this, and apparently that happened a while ago. But a player was hiding in a trash can during a PK session so he could get intel. He was miming. Yeah, here it is. He was miming before a PK shootout. But he was shining a laser pointer. Here it is. Nahu Gomez was suspended for 11 games, fined, and ordered to community service after being found guilty of distracting Monterey goalie from a suite inside the stadium with a laser pointer. Dude, that's some Mario Balotelli stuff right there.
Yeah, for real.
That I will not forget.
That I just want to know, like, the mindset of like, like, yeah, you're getting the intel, whatever, but then you're just like, nah, don't need to worry about beating them, naturally and fairly. Like, let me hide in the suite and just target him. And
yeah, what do you think was going to happen? a consequenceless life for this guy. I don't know. I don't know how you think you can get away with that and be fine. Wild.
Jeez.
Wild. All right, Chad, we got a busy week coming up. Lots of games Tuesday through Sunday just for the whole week. I don't think I'm going to be able to chat with you for a little bit, at least not online. So we might have to check back next Tuesday, the 30th.
That could work.
So get the notebooks ready because we got about, oh, man.
There's a lot.
We got a lot of games here, so we might have to pick and choose, be a little more specific. The table might look very different a week from now with these two games to be played. Good luck. Get it done.
Likewise, yeah.
Get it done, right?
Keep the pressure on.
Keep the pressure on. Don't let City get away with this for free.
That's
Simple
it.
as that. All right, Chad, you got any more to say?
Nope. I think that's it. Just cautiously optimistic moving for the rest of the season.
That's all we can do. It's up to you, City. Decide if you want to win this thing or not. We'll be here if you don't. That's all we're saying.
Exactly.
All right, Chad. It's been a pleasure. With that, the Hooligans pitch. We are out. Episode 69. Later. Peace.